This is a bowline. It's one of the most versatile of arborist knots. Used to be probably the most commonly used knot in tree work. It's also called a bowline, a standing bowline, or a bowling knot. To tie this knot, we make an overhand clockwise loop. We pass the working end of the rope up through the loop from back to front, round the standing part of the rope, and back through the loop. I'm just going to dress and set that knot. So that's a right-handed bowline because the rope goes from the right hand to the left hand around the standing part of the line, and that's the variation we want to use. Tied this way round, you can see that the tail sits on the outside of the knot. The rope has gone from the left to the right around the standing part of the line. That's called a cowboy bowline or a left-handed bowline, and it's a less stable variation. So we want to stick to the regular right-handed bowline. This is a fantastic knot for rigging, for tie downs, for pulling ropes. There are various uses in climbing and life support. However, there is an issue with the knot. It's easier to show it with this rope, which is that it creeps. I don't know if you can see the creep, but as I open and close it, the tail is walking through the loop. So if we're going to use this knot for life support, we need to secure it somehow to prevent the creep from occurring. So to secure it, I'm just going to pull a bit more slack through this knot and give myself a little bit of extra tail. A bit of a longer tail. One way to prevent the end of the rope from creeping through the knot is to tie a stopper knot. I've only just got enough tail there to tie a double overhand knot. Just get that set and dressed nicely. Oh. So that's a single bowline, single right-handed bowline with a double overhand knot as a stopper knot. And the stopper knot, if I was climbing with that knot, the stopper knot would prevent the tail of the rope creeping through the bowline. Another option you can use, if I just take the bowline completely out, another option is to use what's called a double bowline. So I've made my clockwise overhand loop, a second clockwise overhand loop, and then I'm just going to tie the bowline just like before. Working end goes through both loops, round the standing part, and back through the loops. I'll get that dressed up nicely. And set. And you can see here that the tail of the rope is hanging down into the loop. So if that's going to be an issue for us, what we'll do is we'll just tuck it back up, following the other end, following the standing part of the rope back up through the loop. So that's a double bowline with the tail tucked. And if you're using this for life support, either the double bowline with the tail tucked or the stopper knot or some other way of preventing the end from creeping through the knot is critical. So whichever bowline you've tied, one thing that's great about this knot is how easy it is to untie even after a very heavy load. So no matter how hard I've pulled this, whether it's, I mean, even if I was pulling a tree over, even pulling it with a vehicle, I should still be able to turn the knot over. That's the bar there, which is going to break that up. That loosens the whole thing up, and then it's very easy to untie. So that's the bowline.